Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is the Vaquero series, episodio dos. In this episode today, we are going to be talking about Mexican governor of Alta California, Pico, otherwise known as a great Californio and a great man in general, who fought hard for his Mexican country. He was a three-citizen person. He was a Spanish citizen, then Mexican, then U.S. citizen. He had massive amounts of land. He was the brother to General Andre Pico. And like I said before, he was a Mexican governor. So, without further ado, let's jump into the video and have a great time. Pico was born May 5th, 1801, to Jose Pico and Maria Gutierrez, who were part of the first settlers to go to Alta California. They traveled from Sinaloa and Sonora in 1776, right around the time the United States was gaining independence from Great Britain, which will tell you the great historical value of the Pico family. And Pico's father, Jose, he was corporal of the guard, meaning he taught his son that dedication and hard work towards the Spanish government paid off. Now, Pico, he was seen as a Afro-Mexican, meaning that he had African descent and Mexican descent within him. So this, as you will tell, would come back to bite him in the future when the United States came to Alta California. By 1826, Pico had joined the Mexican government's Diputación in Alta California. He managed to do this because Mexico won its independence from Spain several years before. He received his first piece of land, which was around 8,900 acres in the San Diego area today, along with his brother, General Andre Pico. They then acquired the Santa Margarita Ranch, which is now known as Camp Pendleton. The Santa Margarita y Las Flores Ranch comprised of roughly 133,000 acres. Pico utilized his land by running a lot of livestock upon it, using California Vaqueros to run the livestock, which if you've watched previous videos, you know that the Vaqueros included mulattoes, Indians, native Californians, and many others. Then in 1848, the United States government won Alta California from Mexico, and Pico had to resign his governorship. He fought desperately for Mexico to keep Alta California, but this was to no avail. However, he managed to keep most of his land when the United States government came to California. He was one of the lucky ones. The United States government fought hand and foot and nail and teeth for the land of the wealthy Californios. Many of Pico's brethren, the Californios, they lost their land to the United States government. Now, the U.S. government didn't do this overtly most of the time. They did it because the Spanish land grants or the Mexican land grants were not very specific on the exact acreage that the Californios possessed. Therefore, the U.S. government decided that they could take these wealthy Californios to court and take their land. Now, many of the Californios did go to court and they won their cases, but their legal fees caused them to lose their land, meaning they proved that they legally own the land, but they had to forfeit it because they simply ran out of money. From the 1860s to the 1890s, Pico was in many property disputes, meaning that he had lots of legal fees, and this caused him to lose the majority of his property. To regain his social status, he had to create the Pico House, which was a hotel within Southern California, and it did in fact bring him new wealths that would have been unheard of in the Californio days. meaning he did not rely upon vast swaths of land because he had lost it in litigation, but he relied upon a new form of currency, something similar to hotels today. He played upon the California gold rush, and he lavishly spent on his clients and customers so that they could stay in the finest hotel in California. But litigation caught up with him again. He would lose the Pico house because he was trying to defend his other properties. And this is why he lost everything. Pico would die in the 1890s, living off of the charity of his friends. A once great Californio, governor of Alta California, he would die in squalor. Many historians say that Pio Pico was a very generous man who was taken advantage of by white Americans. He, of course, was an Afro-Mexican, meaning he was African American. They say that because he only spoke Spanish, he signed many things that he did not actually intend to sign. Therefore, it is believed that Pio Pico could still have been in control of his land had it not been for faulty negotiating on the behalf of his lawyers. Pico is remembered today by his state historic park known as the Pio Pico State Historic Park, located within Southern California. His state historic park is open to visitors, and they display an elaborate history of Pio Pico. This is a house located on that state historic park. The state historic park was named after Pio Pico because, of course, he owned it. Pico is also remembered by the many signs within Los Angeles that display his name. Pico, of course. Pico is a main boulevard within Los Angeles and connects with Union. If you live within Los Angeles, just remember that Pio Pico was there before you and that you should be proud of your Mexican heritage if you are Mexican. This is a black and white photo of Pio Pico Boulevard back in the day. There is also Pico Canyon, which is located also in Southern California. Of course, it was named after Pio Pico because he was the governor of California. There are also 2 elementary schools within Los Angeles or Southern California named after Pio Pico. With that, I want to thank you all for watching this episode of the Vaquero series about Pio Pico, former governor of California and staunch California. I want to remind you all to like and subscribe and have a great day. Adios. Stay tuned for more.